I was the only Asian kid in class when a teacher's racist outburst changed my life. What happened next made national headlines. You don't belong here. The lunch monitor screamed, knocking my lunch tray to the floor when I was 7 years old. 20 years later, I testified before Congress about school discrimination, parter all because my immigrant parents refused to let that moment define me. It was an ordinary Tuesday at Westfield and AFIP in 1998. I was one of only 2 Asian American students in the entire school, the child of Korean immigrants who had moved to this small American town for my father's engineering job despite being different. I'd made friends easily and never felt out of place. Parent until that day, I remember everything about that lunch period. My Nafady lunchbox, the chocolate pudding cup I was excited about, the red plastic tray that clattered against the linoleum floor when Mrs. Harmon suddenly appeared beside our table. "Why are you sitting here?" she snapped, her face contorted with an anger I couldn't understand. "You don't belong here?" Before I could respond, she knocked my tray off the table, sending my sandwich and apple scattering across the floor. The cafeteria fell silent as she grabbed my arm hard enough to leave finger-shaped bruises, dragging me away from my friends to an empty table in the corner. "Stay with your own kind," she hissed. Though there was no kind for me to stay with, parent, I was alone. I sat there fighting tears, not understanding what I'd done wrong. Another lunch monitor, Mrs. Chen, hurried over with a replacement sandwich and quietly took me to the principal's office. I remember thinking I was in trouble, that somehow this was my fault. When my parents arrived, I expected them to be quiet and apologetic as they often were when dealing with authority figures in our new country. Instead, my father, parent, who normally spoke softly and deferred to others, parent, transformed before my eyes. "This is assault," he said in his accented English, pointing to the bruises forming on my arm. "This is discrimination. In America, this is illegal," the principal stammered about misunderstandings and overreactions. My mother, who rarely spoke in official settings due to her limited English, pulled out a small Korean English dictionary from her purse. "Criminal," she read carefully. "We call police now." Mrs. Harmon was fired the next day, but my parents didn't stop there. They contacted the local Korean American Association, who connected them with a civil rights attorney. What began as an incident report became a federal investigation into patterns of discrimination in our school district. The investigation revealed Mrs. Harmon had previously targeted other minority students. 3 teachers came forward about the administration ignoring complaints. Local news covered the story, then national outlets picked it up. By summer, our small-town discrimination case had become part of a larger conversation about racism in American schools. My parents used the settlement money to create a scholarship fund for minority students pursuing education degrees. They named it after Mrs. Chen, the lunch monitor who had helped me that day, and later revealed she'd been reporting Mrs. Harmon's behavior for months without action. Today, I lead a national nonprofit focused on combating discrimination in education. Whenever I speak at conferences, I show a picture of my 7-year-old self holding that take-itty lunchbox. Discrimination doesn't just hurt in the moment, I tell audiences. It teaches children what to expect from the world. My parents refused to let one person's hatred become my life lesson. Last year, I received an email from a former classmate who witnessed the incident. "I've never forgotten that day," she wrote. "Jatek, your parents' fight for you taught me more about courage than anything else in my childhood. I am now a kindergarten teacher because of it." Sometimes the worst moments of our lives become foundations for something greater. And sometimes the tray that gets knocked down feeds many more than just the child it was meant for.